as Donald Trump has won the presidency, homes have immediately become more expensive and less in reach for average American citizens.
Why is everything so damn expensive? I just went to the grocery store to get a few things. Just a few simple things. And I'm about to show you what I got, and I want you to guess how much this shit costs.
Hey guys, welcome back again to the channel. It's so good to have you. Thank you so much for clicking when you saw this video. So in today's video, people are just complaining about homelessness, the price of goods going up, how people are going homeless, or how people will be going homeless, okay, if some of these policies are put in place by then. You know, the rate of homelessness will increase and people will not be able to afford housing anymore because of the price. You know, the house crisis is going to start up. Okay, so inflation is going to come up. That's majorly what people are talking about. Some people are talking about recession and all of that. So let's go ahead and watch these videos. Okay, I've compiled for you guys. I've compiled some videos for you guys from different creators. Let's go watch it, hear what they're saying, and you share your thoughts also in the comment section, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let's go watch the videos and come back.
So by now, I think everybody's got a pretty good handle on the fact that when Donald Trump becomes president and he enacts his horrible policies of mass deportations and tariffs on everybody he can think of, the cost of the everyday goods that you purchase are going to go through the roof. Again, just the mass deportation would cause your prices to go through the roof, but you add that to the tariff plan, we're looking at a massive sudden price increase across the board. In fact, retailers have already been holding their quarterly calls, strategizing on how to raise prices. So this is not a pie in the sky. This is not a hypothetical, maybe it will, maybe it won't. They've already got it planned. It is going to happen. So we know that. Here's what you may not know. You may think that, okay, well, the things I've already purchased, obviously, I'm not gonna have to pay more for what I already own, right? Oh, if only it were that simple. Because the mass deportations and the tariffs on everybody are not the only plans that Donald Trump has. And in fact, his deregulation platform that Republicans always run on would cause the cost of your mortgage to increase by up to about $3,000 per year if, and only if, of course, you know, you're a middle to low income earner. So if you make a lot of money, you don't have to worry, your mortgage is locked in. But if you're somebody that had to basically get a government subsidized loan through Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, Trump's plans would cause your mortgage costs to increase by up to $3,000 per year. Here's what's happening. Following the economic crash of 2007 and 2008, which of course coincided with the housing market collapse, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac were basically put under a government conservatorship. And because of that, the government is essentially backing these loans from these two financial giants. And they do provide loans mostly to lower to middle income American citizens. And in order to not take on the full risk of these loans, but being backed by the government, they're then able to kind of bundle them and they sell them to investors, which helps to keep the mortgage rates low. Trump's privatization plan, and I hope, by the way, that I explained that in a way that makes sense, because it is a very complicated issue, and I tried to distill it down to one paragraph. So a little tough to do, but that is basically it in a nutshell. So anyway, Trump's privatization plan, or his deregulation plan, I should call it, calls for the privatization of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, something Republicans have been pushing for years. Trump wanted to do it in his first term, but he was unsuccessful in doing that. He will attempt to do it again in a second term, and now with Republicans in the House and Senate, probably going to be able to do it. And if he does that, and he privatizes these government-backed entities, suddenly that frees them up to increase your interest rates. But more importantly, even if they don't do that, what it does is it removes the government backing from these mortgages. Meaning, those investors who are essentially the ones really backing it, in front of the federal government, suddenly your investment is far riskier. When it's a riskier investment, fewer people are willing to make the investment, which at that point would cause these rates to go up because Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac would need to make sure that they can get their money out of it before these people default. Again, it's a very complicated thing, but economists are predicting that if this happens, it will raise your prices by about $3,000 per year. So again, It's not just your eggs that are going to become more expensive, or your milk, or your gas, or even the cost of a new house. Even if you're already locked in with an existing mortgage, if it's through Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, you may want to start saving now, because Trump's about to
As Donald Trump has won the presidency, homes have immediately become more expensive and less in reach for average American citizens. And that is because mortgage rates are on the rise. And I will now explain how and why that is happening in a totally non-political way. Now, the reason why homes have become more expensive is because mortgage rates are on the rise. In fact, immediately after Trump winning the election, mortgage rates increased from 6.72% to 6.79%. In fact, mortgage rates have been on the rise since September 26, when they were at 6.08% for a 30-year mortgage and 5.16% for a 15-year mortgage, and have been on the rise as it started to look more and more likely that Trump was going to win. But what does Trump have to do with mortgage rates? Isn't this more so affected by interest rates at the Fed? And the Fed have been cutting interest rates. In fact, they've cut it by 0.75% this year so far. Shouldn't that mean mortgage rates should also be coming down? And the answer is no, because mortgage rates are forward-looking towards expected inflationary pressure, and three key policies that Trump ran on are all inflationary: tax cuts, tariffs, and deportation. Now, I just made a video talking about how and why tariffs cause inflation. Now, if you import in goods, tariffs are actually an import tax put on the U.S. company. But it's not like they cover that whole thing. They push the costs onto the U.S. consumer. But if we even move everything within America, we cannot meet our own consumption demands, even if we produce as much as raw materials as we possibly can to try to meet that consumption. We will have to import in goods that get hit with that tariff that push on costs to U.S. citizens. And if more U.S. citizens are part of the labor force making our goods, U.S. citizens require much higher salaries, and those costs are much more expensive than any shipping costs you're saving on, and they ultimately as well get pushed on to the end consumers, making things more expensive and increasing inflation. Trump's policy of tax cuts is also inflationary. And the reason why is these are very large tax cuts for corporations as well as for very wealthy people. Now, you might say, oh, if corporations getting taxed less, their profit margins are going to be even better. There's not going to be a need to increase the price of goods. Correct. In fact, they're going to hire more people as well, potentially, and job market could do very, very well. That all does and sounds and feels really, really good. But the thing is if more people have high-paying jobs, more people have more money. If more people have more money, and if more people are being taxed less, they also have more money, they spend more. If you spend more, demand goes up. If demand goes up, so too do the price of goods, and therefore inflation. Now let's talk about deportations, because you might immediately be like, how the hell did deportations increase inflation? What do they have to do with it? In fact, if you're actually removing people from America, aren't there less people to buy things, which means demand actually comes down and inflation would come down? That is an effect. However, the effect of increased labor costs, because cheap labor from immigration, especially for things like picking crops and agriculture, you're going to have to hire more people locally. Once again, Americans require much higher salaries. So if a company's labor costs go up, it's not like they eat those costs for the benefit of society. These are for-profit companies, right? They're going to take those costs and cook them into their products, and the cost of the goods go up at a much higher degree than the demand comes down from less people in America because they've been deported, right? It is ultimately an inflationary trigger. And it's because of those three main policies. Granted, they haven't been enacted, right? So what ultimately does get pushed through, if they do push through policies across those three that are just less aggressive than what Trump has talked about on his campaign, we could see mortgage rates begin to lower. However, if they are implemented the way that the Trump campaign said that they want to implement them, mortgage rates could be expected to continue to increase and then maintain very, very high rates, making it less affordable and less attainable for Americans to one day own a home.
Hey, Bestie. So now that Trump is elected, we're about to head into a recession. So just buckle up, and here's what you need to know. And if you guys are new here, I'm Theonie the Lender. I've been a lender for 9 years now, and I help people every single day buy and refinance a house. Okay, so here's what's been going on. The last couple of months have been absolutely insanity with these mortgage rates. They were literally at the lowest level that we've seen in 2 years back in August, and then they spiked right back into the sevens a couple weeks ago. So what's been happening is that there's all these data reports that are coming out showing a really strong economy, and the stronger the economy, the higher these rates go. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, like, Theoni, what freaking strong economy? And I'm with you on that. There are people that are making the most amount of money that they have ever made and still cannot buy groceries and are still just living paycheck to paycheck. And the idea of buying a house to them is like so far out of reach. So here's what's about to happen. All these reports that have been coming out showing a really strong economy, I think it's because we were in election year. And so every report that was coming out was trying to showcase a better economy than it really was. For example, the jobs report a couple months back showed that we added so many jobs, but they didn't account that most of those jobs were part-time jobs. They were in addition to people's full-time jobs. However, the economists only saw this as, oh, we added more jobs, so now we have a super strong economy. We're about to see reports come out showing the actual levels of unemployment. And as these things get worse, as unemployment rises and people start to lose their jobs and the economy does actually weaken because it is not as strong as it's depicted, the interest rates will go back down for housing. And now that Trump has entered office, they're going to try to blame it on him, and they're going to full on focus on this terrible bad economy and this huge recession that we've already been in, but nobody's said that yet. They're going to highlight that, making the mortgage rates drop. So this is good news if you are in the market to buy a house in the next 12 to 24 months. But things are going to get worse and sound a lot worse because the real reports were making it seem like we were in a stronger economy than we really were. So if you're looking to buy a house in the next 12 months, this is a very crucial time to get ready and just make sure that you have all your ducks in a row, because once those rates start dropping again, there's going to be so many more people that can afford that same house that you're looking at today at no competition. You're going to have competition, which is going to drive the housing prices right back up. And I am accepting new clients for next year, so head over to the link in my bio to get started and follow me along for more mortgage tips.
Why is everything so damn expensive? I just went to the grocery store to get a few things. Just a few simple things. And I'm about to show you what I got, and I want you to guess how much this shit cost. I got salsa, okay? Salsa is the first thing. Next up on the list, mozzarella cheese. Just this little thing of mozzarella cheese, okay? I got 2 things of prosciutto. I'm making a sandwich. Don't judge me. I got 1 thing of white cheddar Cheez-Its, okay? Sourdough bread. Shit, can't get it in the bag. 4 apples and 1 bag of tortilla chips. Now, I'll give you a second. Guess how much that cost. It's like 7 things. Guess. $61. It cost me $61 to get that shit. What is going on? Why is shit so expensive, bro? A bag of tortilla chips is $9? Since when?
The truth is that when there's inflation, when there's recession, or when the tariffs goes high, you kind of experience price hike in everything. And I'm just seeing videos online of everybody talking about prices of housing. There's even this guy that was talking about how his rent is like 2K for a very small apartment, and he was complaining that a few years ago he wasn't paying that amount of money. And just because the announcement was made that TP1, okay, prices of things started going high and all that. And, I don't know what's going to become of everyone, but I just hope for the best for everybody, right? Because the prices of things, if it goes high, it's going to affect a lot of persons. People going to be homeless. Like, lots of homelessness is going to really happen in the States, and that wouldn't make a lot of sense. Okay, I saw one guy's video where he was like, he's homeless, he has to start living in his car, and that was just like a few hours ago. Okay, and if something like that is happening to somebody right now, what becomes of the person by the time that all the policies are being put in place, by the time TP comes in, right? What will now happen? Okay, if people are already going homeless right now, what will happen by then? Anyway, guys, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section. Okay, I will love to read from you. Okay, please share your thoughts with me from all the videos you've watched. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section, and please do well subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Don't forget to click the subscribe button right now, and also to give this video a thumbs up so that more people can see it. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. I hope to see you on my next video. Bye, guys.